Only thing I could do is, grab my son or hold him to my heart. And so this has been very difficult for me.
I am so very sorry. And now, in addition to that absolute unbearable tragedy, we have a paternity situation.
Yes.
Today, 4 cases where paternity turned lives upside down. A woman tells one man he's the father, then says he's not, over and over for 4 years. A grandmother buries 2 sons and fights for the truth about her grandchild. An ex-boyfriend storms into court to prove a baby belongs to him, not the man raising her. And a woman searches for 20 years with nothing but one photo and a name. Let's get into it.
Mr. Haines, you have brought Ms. Manning to court today to prove that you are the father of her 4-year-old daughter, Zoe. You say Ms. Manning initially told you that you were Zoe's dad, but now is claiming you are not her father. Is that correct?
Yes, Honor.
So this is Manning's second time in paternity court for the same child. The first man she brought in, not the father. Now Haines steps up, saying he's the one. But Manning says he's wrong too. They dated briefly, broke up, and what happened next is where the whole mess started. Manning says it was always just a possibility. Haines says she told him flat out he was the father, multiple times.
I've never even told him that he wasn't the father. I just told him there was a possibility he was the father.
She said I was the father multiple times. Then she also told me I wasn't the father multiple times.
So first let me understand, what was the nature of your relationship?
We first met when I was getting a tattoo, and it was at her residence.
A short relationship, a quick breakup, and then 9 months of silence. Manning had the baby and didn't tell Haines a thing about it. Zoe was 9 months old before Manning even hinted he might be involved. And the way he found out was through a photo that shook him, because the baby looked exactly like his son. He put the 2 pictures side by side, and that was it. He was convinced.
When I told him that I was pregnant, he asked for a picture of Zoe, so I sent him a picture of her.
And how did you even know she existed if you've never been told?
I never knew until after my son was born, and that's when I received the photo, and I thought it was my son.
4 years of limbo. Manning says it was always just a possibility and nothing more. But Haines had already been through the full emotional roller coaster. Told he was the father, then told he wasn't. Back and forth depending on the day and depending on her mood. And then the real bombshell dropped. There wasn't just one other possible father out there, there were 2.
So are there just 3 possibilities or more? Go ahead and tell the truth.
Just 3.
So 1 we already tested. The second is on her birth certificate. And the third is Mr. Haines.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you know about the third possibility, Mr. Haines?
No.
3 possible fathers. 1 already eliminated in this courtroom. 1 on the birth certificate who signed papers at the hospital but has no interest in raising Zoe. And then there's Haines, the man who saw his own face in that little girl's photo, but he could barely get near her. Manning let him talk to Zoe once, and he had to pretend he was just a family friend.
When I first got the Facebook message saying that I was not the father.
Based on what information?
Because that's when the father that's on the birth certificate, that's when she told me about him.
Okay, so in early 2015, what happened?
That's when I got unblocked from her, and that's when I received a message from her saying that I was the father again.
Unblocked, then told he's the father again. Then blocked, then told he's not. Every single time Manning's relationship status changed, Haines got a different answer about whether this little girl was his. The cycle went on for years. His girlfriend watched the whole pattern unfold in real time, reading those messages as they came in, and she had something to say about it.
Ms. Wickwire, talk to me about this particular paternity situation.
First off,
what
Your Honor,
testimony do you have?
we've been together for 2.5 years. She has repeatedly sent him messages saying that he is the father and isn't the father. She's dragging him through hell, pretty much. When he is the father, he's
Your Honor,
happy and wants to.
There it is. She admitted it. She used paternity as a weapon every single time she was angry. The judge had spent 20 minutes going in circles trying to get a straight answer, and it all came down to that one confession. She said things out of anger, but the math still mattered, and when the judge laid out the actual timeline, the numbers pointed in one clear direction.
Mr. Haines, she broke up with you in November.
Yes, at the hospital, by the way.
And then Zoe was born in August.
Yes.
If we backtrack, that timeline would point to you.
Yeah.
You've done the math, I presume.
Yes, I did.
Manning's own timeline put Haines right in the window, October to October. She couldn't rule him out no matter how hard she tried. And then the judge asked the question that cracked her open. Do you hope he's the father? Manning said yes, because the man on the birth certificate doesn't want to be involved. Haines is the only one who actually wants to be in this little girl's life. Here come the results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Haines, you are not the father.
That's all I needed to know. Sucks that Zoe don't know her real dad. Maybe she should just get the other guy tested that's on the birth certificate.
2 court appearances for this one child, 2 negative DNA results, and the only man left, the one on the birth certificate, doesn't want to be involved in Zoe's life at all. She's 4 years old, and she still doesn't know who her father is. The judge said it plainly, she feels sad for Zoe. So does everyone watching this unfold. Moving on.
Mrs. Watts, you are here on behalf of your deceased son, Alex, who was tragically murdered just a few months ago. I'm very sorry for your loss. You stand here on his behalf because you doubt he fathered the defendant's 20-month-old son, Caden.
This one is heavy. A mother standing in court for a son who was murdered just a few months ago. She's not here to fight. She's here because she needs to know if this little boy is all she has left of her child. She's already lost everything a mother can lose. But what happened to Alex is something no parent should ever have to describe out loud.
When I got to the scene, my older son, Lewis, he was still at the scene. He died on the scene. He was covered with a sheet. I was told that my son Alex had been taken to the hospital in critical condition. When I got to the hospital to see
2 sons, both gone the same day. One dead at the scene, one dead at the hospital. And now this grandmother has to decide whether to open her heart to a baby, knowing that if the DNA comes back wrong, it'll feel like losing her son all over again. Cheryl says there's no doubt Alex was the father. She submitted a video of Alex and Caden together to prove it.
Miss Cheryl, you submitted a video of Caden and Alex, which you say shows the nature of their relationship.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you submitted that to the court.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, just like you don't hear what I'm saying. You mad at me now? You wanna annoy me? I don't care.
That phrase, blood test or not, told the judge everything she needed to hear. If there was truly no doubt in Cheryl's mind, why would she need to say that? Why would she frame it that way? And then the text messages came out. Mrs. Watts had asked Cheryl directly, early on, whether Caden was Alex's child. Cheryl's answer back then was not what she's saying now in this courtroom.
This is a text message between you and Miss Cheryl.
yes.
And you ask, question, are you pregnant by Alex? And Miss Cheryl responds, I don't really know, I don't believe so, but at this moment, I don't know, I have to get a blood test.
A one-night stand, a secret pregnancy, and a text message where Cheryl admitted she didn't know who the father was. The case she built in the first 5 minutes of testimony was already crumbling. She told Alex about the cheating. She took a pregnancy test 2 weeks later, and the timing left everything wide open. The comparison between Caden and Alex's other child made it even harder to ignore.
I didn't tell nobody when I was in labor with Caden, Your Honor.
And so Alex wasn't there either?
No.
No, yeah, and Alex didn't see the baby for 2 months.
So what's interesting is in the court papers, I see Caden's birth certificate.
She gave the baby a friend's last name, not Alex's, not her own, because deep down, she wasn't sure. She said it herself. She may have had a little doubt in her mind. That one honest moment cut through everything else she'd said in that courtroom. And then Alex's stepfather, the man who was closest to him, the man he talked to about everything, took the stand.
When that child was born, or was he definitive in saying that this is my child?
Yes. Yeah, because we keep our granddaughter, sometimes.
But Alex also got a blood test with his daughter also. They did get a blood test with her too.
And it was determined that he was the biological father.
Exactly. So
Alex's other daughter was claimed immediately, brought around the family from day one, celebrated openly. But Caden, no announcement, no visits, no introduction. The stepfather said Alex never once mentioned having a baby. He only started seeing photos recently. He said if someone has a child, they bring that child around and show the family. Alex never did that with Caden.
Ms. Watts, why is it that he never went to pick her up or spent time with Caden?
Because, for the past 6 months, we have been going through so much.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to open that door and get attached to the baby and then find out that he may not be his, and then it'd be like I'm losing my son all over again.
A grandmother who's afraid to love a child because the truth might take him away too. After burying 2 sons on the same day, she couldn't risk one more loss. She said it plainly. If the DNA says Caden isn't Alex's, it would feel like losing her son all over again. That's the weight this woman carried into this courtroom. Here come the results.
The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Lita Watts and Caden is 0.006% You are not related.
Not related, 0.006%. The baby Cheryl swore was Alex's. The DNA said otherwise. And the real father is a man from a one-night stand she hasn't spoken to since it happened. Mrs. Watts held it together, but you could see it. Another loss piled on top of everything else she's already been through this year. Next up,
Mr. Butterfield, you've summoned your ex-girlfriend, Ms. Bracknell, to paternity court to prove that you are the father of her 2-month-old daughter, Cara. You say she's denying you are Cara's dad because she's worried her family will be torn apart.
Yes, Your Honor.
3 people, 1 baby, and the fiancé standing right there in the courtroom watching all of this unfold. Bracknell told Butterfield thank you for the gift, and then vanished. He didn't find out about the pregnancy until months later. Someone else was at the delivery, someone else cut the cord, and now Bracknell says there's no way the baby is his. Her fiancé brought a calendar to prove it.
So what you're saying is, when this relationship ended, you didn't know you were pregnant?
No.
But once you found out you were
I
pregnant,
wasn't
How could you
pregnant
not?
at
You're
the
not
time
having
that we
periods.
broke up.
Do
you
not
weren't
do-
pregnant at all?
No.
So why are you convinced your fiance, Mr. Dallas, is the father?
Bracknell's argument was simple. The baby looks like her other kids with Dallas, but Butterfield wasn't buying it. Dallas came prepared with a calendar breaking down every date. When Bracknell left Butterfield, when she came back to Dallas, when Cara was conceived, the math said it was Dallas's child and nobody else's. But then Butterfield dropped something that blew the whole timeline apart.
So although these dates may be true, they are missing.
Yeah.
They're
That is correct.
inadequate
Yes, Your Honor.
because October, there should be.
Sorry, I'm not meaning to interrupt. She used to work for an auto parts store, and she would call me and be like, hey.
Secret meetups after the breakup. He remembered the exact date, October 8th, the last time. She denied everything, but he offered a polygraph right there on the spot and challenged her to do the same. The fiancé had to sit there and process all of this in real time. And then the conversation shifted to something bigger. What happens to this family if the DNA doesn't go Dallas's way?
He's actually made our family stronger than trying to push us apart, what he's been trying to
That's
do.
good. I'm not trying to get her back. I'm just trying to be in my daughter's life.
No, you just have
You named her. Yeah, from what I hear, you named her after what? Your grandma, and she got your last name? That'll change very soon.
No, well.
Dallas cut the cord. Dallas named her. Dallas was there for every single moment that Butterfield missed. And Butterfield stood there saying none of that matters if the biology tells a different story. He said the name would be changed. Dallas said it wouldn't. 2 men fighting over a last name while a 2-month-old baby had no idea what was happening. But the accusations were far from over.
She was gone with Mr. Dallas or somebody else?
Somebody else. There could be more than one person
No.
that she's been with.
No, it's not true, Your Honor.
Really?
Since Cara has been born, have you tried to be in her life, Mr. Butterfield?
I have. Actually, when I found out about it, I messaged her mom, let him know I was coming.
Hidden pregnancies, running back to exes, cheating on his birthday with another man entirely. Butterfield painted a clear pattern and Bracknell denied every single piece of it. But the physical evidence sitting right there in the courtroom was hard to argue with. Cara had brown hair in a family full of blondes, and even Bracknell's own relatives had told Butterfield the baby looks like him.
She knows you as daddy.
Yeah. Yes, Your Honor.
That's perfect. That's gonna be me very soon.
Look at that. Look at him.
She looks more like me. Even her own family says it. Her own family even tells
They
me.
ain't family.
Butterfield came into that courtroom with one mission: prove Cara is his and fight for the access he's been denied. He'd been shut out completely since the day she was born. No visits, no contact, no phone calls. And the couple sitting across from him insisted that nothing would change even if the DNA went against them. But there was one more thing Butterfield believed was driving all of this.
Mr. Butterfield, you said she'll be back.
Yeah, she always.
Why do you say that?
She runs back to her
been a
exes all the
year.
time. She runs back to all of them. Like the last person she cheated on me with was an ex-boyfriend. She run back to him. How many times? The only reason why she wants this baby, my daughter, to be.
She didn't want 2 baby daddies. That's what Butterfield believed was behind everything. The timeline was close enough that she could choose which version of reality she wanted to live in. She picked the one that kept her family intact. But the DNA doesn't negotiate with anybody, and the judge had heard more than enough from all 3 of them. Here come the results.
It has been determined by this court. Cara's biological father is Mr. Butterfield.
What did I tell you?
It's fake.
What did I tell you?
It's fake.
Bracknell called it fake. Dallas wanted a retest, but the DNA was clear. Butterfield was the father of that little girl. He stood there with tears in his eyes, saying all he wanted was to see his daughter. 8 months hidden from him, someone else's name on the birth certificate, and now the family Bracknell built around a different truth has a crack running straight through it.
At the age of 10, you were shocked and devastated to learn that your dad was not your biological father. That began your 20-year search to find the man your mother claims is your father.
10 years old. That's when her world split in two. The man she called dad wasn't hers, and the man who might be had vanished without a trace. Her mother sat her down with one photograph and said, "This is who your father is." That's all she had to go on. One picture and one name. And for 20 years after that moment, she searched with nothing else.
The state that she told me he was from, which was Little Rock, Arkansas, I would go in there and I'd mention his name and say, you know, does anybody know this man? I believe he is my father, and I've been searching for him, and nobody ever had any information they could give me. We even went back to
And
where
all
they
you
met.
had to go on was this one photo you
The
had?
one picture.
He walked into that courtroom and found out he might have a 30-year-old daughter he never knew existed, never heard her name, never been told she was born. The court tracked him down in a matter of days after she spent 20 years trying on her own. And when she finally saw him standing there in person, everything she'd been holding inside for 2 decades broke open.
Since my early teens, I've searched everywhere. I've searched phone books. I've searched online. I've asked people, and I've never had a response from anybody in the past 20 years. Nobody has ever given me even a single detail of where he's from or where he lives.
20 years and not one lead, not a single person who recognized his name or his face. She told him all of this while standing 10 feet away from him for the first time in her life. Laup was visibly emotional, hearing the full weight of a search he never knew was happening. The judge gave them a moment. Then she asked how the whole story started in the first place.
We kept it amicable, and then at one point in time, I'm not sure how it happened, but he had burned all my clothes up in the fireplace. And
Really?
And for what reason, I don't know why his motorcycle was outside. I kind of tore it up a little bit.
Burned clothes in a fireplace? A wrecked motorcycle parked out front. 2 men fighting over the same woman in a small town. Lutman says she wanted Laup, but the ex-boyfriend wouldn't stay out of the picture no matter what. And when Laup eventually packed up and left for Arkansas, Lutman went back to the ex. About a month later, she started showing symptoms, and she assumed the baby belonged to her ex.
When Miss Manship was 10 years old, you immediately knew, well, if it's not my ex, it is Mr. Laup.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Were you with any other men during the window of conception?
No, Your Honor.
He stayed in the same town for 6 months after they broke up, and nobody said a word to him about a pregnancy. She didn't know the baby was his, or even that she was carrying his child at the time. They went 30 years without a single word between them, and when the court finally connected them after all that time, Laup had a hard time believing any of it was real.
Several times, and you've never had children with any of your wives.
No, Your Honor, I actually thought I was shooting blanks all the time.
So in addition to not ever hearing about Ms. Manship, not ever speaking to Ms. Lutman, never being told by Ms. Lutman that you're potentially her daughter's father.
4 marriages, 0 children. He spent his entire adult life convinced he couldn't have kids. He said it himself. He thought he was shooting blanks all those years, and now a woman is standing in front of him in a courtroom saying she's been looking for him for 20 years. But Manship wasn't shaken by any of it. She had already made her decision about this man a long time ago.
I haven't been married. In hopes that maybe one day I did find him, I'd have that one moment left with him. That's the only moment I have left as a father and daughter type thing, so.
So all of these years, you never got married because you were saving that one father-daughter moment.
She named her son after a man she'd never met. She stayed unmarried for 20 years so that if she ever found him, he could walk her down the aisle. That's how deeply she believed in that one photograph. Laup said he was open to a relationship with her, by all means. Lutman confirmed there were no other possibilities. It was him or no one. Time for the results.
So you got one beautiful daughter.
Yes, I do.
It has been a long road. I know it has. And you've held on to that picture. That's what she held on to for 20 years, Mr. Laup.
Well, that brings us to the end. A woman who told a man he was the father, then wasn't, then was, then wasn't, until 2 DNA tests proved neither candidate was. A grandmother who lost 2 sons and then learned the baby she hoped was her grandson belonged to someone else entirely. A man who fought through 8 months of secrecy and a fiance blocking his path to prove a little girl was his. And a woman who searched for 20 years with one photograph and found the father she always believed in. If you made it this far, drop a like, leave a comment telling me which case hit you the hardest, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next one.
She used to come back and tell me that Mr. Amir, he was messing with one of my friends.
I don't know.
We both were young at the time. We both were young. So
Both y'all young now?
yeah, we still are young.
How do I sound? Like somebody telling the truth,
like you're
right?
trying to, like what
But,
you do all the time.
the
You trying
guy-
to work
the
around
guy
a lot.
who
You working around a lot right
sent
now.
the message.
You lying. You're not keeping it a band. Keep it a band.
So what are you lying
Keep
about?
it a band. I don't lie.
This not being your baby, right?
It ain't my baby.
Mr. King walks into paternity court fully certain he's the father of 10-month-old Kevon. Ms. Holmes walks in saying she made a mistake and it's someone else's baby. The tension is immediate, the energy is off, and Judge Lake can already see this day is going nowhere quietly.
Mr. King, you have opened your case today because you are 100% certain that you fathered Ms. Holmes' 10-month-old son, Kevon. You state she told you that you are the father, but now says you are not his daddy.
King breaks it down fast. Every time Kevin needs diapers, clothes, anything, Ms. Holmes calls him. He sends it, every time. But the second they argue, she flips it. You're not even the father. The man is drained, emotionally and financially running on empty.
She's so quick to say, oh, you're not the father. Why is you here? What is you doing? Why you keep sending me stuff? Why can't you just get ghosted? And why can't you just leave us alone?
So she's sending mixed messages.
Yes, Your Honor.
She's telling you at some point you are the father, some point you aren't.
Then Ms. Holmes casually drops that they were high school sweethearts, sneaking off, skipping class, meeting at the staircase. King tries to call it just a dance, then corrects himself, maybe a twerk. Judge Lake looks like she needs a moment. This is not the algebra hall.
This is my son. So yeah, I text him when I need something, because why would I try to build a relationship if you're gonna throw that in my face?
So you're the mother?
Yes.
And the master manipulator?
Yes. I was stuck in between them two.
Fast forward to the reunion. Ms. Holmes flies to Texas. No dinner buildup, no slow burn, straight to the hotel. She says they went to dinner first. King says that's a lie. What everyone agrees on. 3 days, multiple rounds, zero subtlety. Judge Lake is already doing the math.
What kind of biology class is this? This is a whole new kind of biology class. Basically, it's not in class where you're supposed to be.
Nope, I was never in class.
And you see how that landed you straight here, right?
Yeah.
King proudly announces the hormones were raisin, not raging raisin, and Judge Lake turns it into a full lecture. Keep it up and you'll be raising kids instead. The courtroom is half laughing, half mortified. King is both.
Wanted to go that far, but we never got to it. And it's like when I saw him, it was like old feelings, arrived. So I was like, okay, let's just get this done.
The old feelings arrived. So you didn't even say we gonna go on a date, nothing. Y'all just go to a hotel and start having sex 4 and 5 times a day?
Here's where it gets messy. The day after the Texas hotel marathon, Ms. Holmes goes straight back home and into bed with her ex. No gap, no pause. Immediately. She even admits it sounds bad. It does.
She called me out of the blue. She actually went back to her boyfriend. She completely quit talking to me. I was like, oh, why? And I kept texting. I'm like, why are you not talking to me? You just had sex with me. It's like you just using me for a play toy.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm back with my boyfriend. I can't talk to you no more.
Both situations were unprotected. 3 days with King, then the ex the very next day. King finds out about the pregnancy through a random call. She says, you got a baby on the way, and he thinks she's joking. Given this timeline, honestly, understandable.
Then get back with your boyfriend. You also had unprotected sex with the boyfriend.
Yes.
1 day later.
Yes.
And how soon after that did you find out you were pregnant?
I found out in the end of November. So at that time, I was with the other guy. So we went to go get a pregnancy test, and it was positive.
Judge Lake pulls out the conception calendar and walks through it date by date. First window points to the ex, second to King, third back to the ex. It's a full rotation. Ms. Holmes admits she was seeing both men with no protection and genuinely no idea. Judge Lake's face says everything.
I said there's no way I'm lying because my conception date is the 28th, and that's exactly when me and you was mostly intimate.
Okay, hold on. I want to understand this. You submitted a calendar to the court which outlines the window of conception you were given by your doctor. Am I correct?
Yes.
Then comes the track star confession. Ms. Holmes claims she never let King finish. She was literally running around the room mid-act. King confirms it. The courtroom loses it. Judge Lake is hollering. It's chaotic comedy, except both men are still in the window regardless.
October 30th. And then who'd you think it was the father?
The other guy.
Now, at any point in time, did you say to yourself, this is a really close window, and I actually don't know who in the world is my child's father?
Then the tone shifts completely. Ms. Holmes gave birth alone. No King, no ex. He'd already moved on. She admits she didn't tell King when Kevin arrived because she knew she'd been using him. King hears this in real time. You can see it land.
Because I wasn't expecting that to be the size, okay? When we was talking.
At some point, though, you did complete the act, Mr. King?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Holmes, at this point, even though you did finish the act with Mr. King, you're convinced Kevon is really your...
Judge Lake pulls out the birth certificate. The father line is blank. If she was so sure it was the ex, why isn't his name there? Ms. Holmes drops the act. She was with 2 men, she doesn't know who the father is, and she has no excuses left.
No, actually, he got him a new girlfriend. So I try to stay in contact because, like I said, I thought he was the father. And when Kevon was born, I didn't tell King because, I mean, I already had bounced back between 2 guys. And, like, at the time, I didn't want to talk to King because every time I talked to him, I only used him.
She breaks down, says Kevon changed everything. She stopped the partying, she grew up, but it kills her that at 10 months old, her son still doesn't have a confirmed father. For the first time, the remorse is completely real.
The real truth is you have no idea.
Oh, I have no idea.
And I'm glad you're honest about that because there's no way you can have any idea. Not having sex with Mr. King on the 28th and having sex with the other guy on the 30th.
Judge Lake turns to King and asks if he sees himself in Kevon. He says yes. The smile. Ms. Holmes admits she hopes it's him too, especially after watching how that baby lit up when King walked in. The whole room feels it.
I went from clubbing to partying to being an old mom, always making sure he has. I put his needs before mine. And I was so selfish when I was having multiple sex with 2 different guys.
The manipulation, the hotel, the back-to-back partners, the lonely delivery room, the blank certificate, a man who kept showing up anyway. It all comes down to this. Judge Lake calls for the results. The envelope comes out. Everyone is still.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. King, you are not the father. I know that wasn't the answer you wanted, Mr. King. I'm sorry.
Ms. Murray is not here to negotiate. She's dragging longtime club regular Mr. Lee into paternity court over her 14-month-old daughter, Winter. And she wants answers, accountability, and a father. Judge Lake walks in to find 1 alleged one-night stand, 6 other kids, a man in full denial, and a courtroom already buzzing with tension before anyone even sits down.
Ms. Murray, you are here today to get Mr. Lee to stop denying that he fathered your 14-month-old daughter, Winter. You demand he man up and own up to his responsibility after today's DNA test. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right out the gate, Ms. Murray calls Mr. Lee out. Deadbeat, absent, seen Winter exactly once in 15 months. Mr. Lee's defense? She's targeting him because he's a good guy and a good father. The courtroom goes silent. Even Judge Lake pauses on that one.
Tell us why you opened your case today.
Well, basically, Your Honor, Mr. Lee is a deadbeat. He has not done anything for Winter.
That's ludicrous. I have 6 other kids.
Exactly.
And I am not the father of her baby.
Then comes the pregnancy video. Ms. Murray sent Mr. Lee a clip of herself taking a test, and one word buried in that message, y'all, becomes the whole case. Mr. Lee latches onto it. Judge Lake latches onto it. Suddenly, that one word is doing more work than any lawyer in the room.
Yes, I have multiple reasons on why. And basically, when she sent me the video of her taking the pregnancy test, she said, "So y'all won't think I'm lying?" And she peed on the stick.
Flashback. Ms. Murray danced at the club under the name Showbiz. Mr. Lee tipped her for nearly a decade. She says he was obsessed. He says he avoided her. Judge Lake listens to both of them rewrite the same history from completely opposite angles and barely keeps a straight face doing it.
Okay.
How did you all meet?
I met Mr. Lee at the club. I used to be a dancer, and he was my customer for about 10 years. So that's really how I met him. He was infatuated with showbiz.
The first hookup gets detailed fast. Mr. Lee announces he violated his personal golden rule: never use the stripper's condom. The room flatlines. Jerome blinks. Ms. Murray dismantles the logic in seconds. Judge Lake isn't buying the condom conspiracy, and honestly, neither is anyone else watching.
How does he go from giving you a tip to ending up in the bed with you?
I was in a relationship. When that relationship ended, I decided to give him a chance, and I ended up pregnant. And now we're here.
Lies.
Now the timeline gets slippery. Mr. Lee claims Miss Murray texted him that her period came, so he relaxed. Then slept with her again, unprotected, because she said she was already pregnant. Judge Lake stares at him like he just said the sky was green. The math isn't mathing, and she knows it.
You never used the stripper's condom. Never.
It was not mine, Fabian. It was yours.
Oh, the golden rule is you never use a condom that the stripper gives you.
Ms. Murray corrects every detail. The message was from the first encounter. He's rearranging the timeline. And yes, she was wilding out after a breakup, but there was only one other man. One. Mr. Lee tries to make it sound like a crowd. Judge Lake stays focused on facts, not feelings.
You was trying to keep up with my ovulation because you was trying to get me pregnant.
So, Mr. Lee, let me ask you this. How did you find out she was not pregnant?
Well, like a couple of weeks after that, I texted her and she was like, hey, you can stop bugging me.
Calendar time. Judge Lake lays it out clean. Mr. Lee on March 3rd, again March 30th. The other man around March 22nd to 24th. The board looks like a crime scene, and every date lands like a clue. Ms. Murray hesitates slightly on the specifics, and that hesitation says a lot. Both men are sitting directly inside the conception window.
That was after
That's the message.
That was
That's the
after the
message.
first
That's the
time we had sex. The second time that we had sex, we did not use a condom.
I had sex with her unprotectedly the second time because she had already told me she was already pregnant.
The conception calculator seals the tension. Winter's birthday, December 21st. Likely conception, March 24th to 30th. Both men fit. Mr. Lee responds with allegedly, then suddenly claims the second encounter was actually April 3rd. Sir, moving a date does not move biology. Judge Lake's expression says everything.
So how long after she told you she was not pregnant, how long after that did you sleep with each other again?
Like 2 weeks.
So wait a minute, you meet up again, have sex again, you don't use protection, and you claim that's because she said she's already pregnant.
The other man gets brought up and the shade flies immediately. Mr. Lee implies Winter just takes pictures with random guys. Ms. Murray is offended. Judge Lake checks him. What's sitting underneath all of this isn't just paternity, it's pride, ego, and two people who clearly have unfinished business that goes way beyond one child.
I went through a phase where I was just really wilding out, but I know that he's the father. She's her father.
Wait, so
because y'all look just alike. It look like you had her. It don't look like
So
I
when
had
you
her.
say Miss Murray, you were wilding out?
Ms. Murray says Winter doesn't call anyone dad, only knows mom. She insists Winter is Mr. Lee's twin, plain and simple. Then she reveals he once told her if Winter wasn't his, she owed him a baby. Judge Lake shuts that down immediately. This is paternity court, not a negotiation table. Biology doesn't bend for preferences.
So wait, I want to take a look at a calendar so we can outline this. So the blue indicates the day you had sex with Mr. Lee, March 30th. The green outlines when you had sex with the other man, which was March 22nd, 23rd, and 24th.
Mr. Lee says Miss Murray wants him to save her. She laughs it off. Winter has a family, stability, and support. Nobody's waiting on a rescue. They go back and forth over a rumored move to Florida, denials, contradictions. The bitterness between these two has clearly been building for a long time.
When is Winter's birthday? When was she born?
December the 21st.
December 21st. Let's put that in. If you put in December 21st, 2017, calculate, okay. So there's sex likely between March 24th and March 30th.
Then Ms. Murray gets real. She doesn't need his money. Winter is taken care of. But if he's the father, Winter needs his presence. He lives 40 minutes away and has shown up once. Mr. Lee softens slightly, says he wants closure, promises to step up if she's his. The courtroom goes quiet for the first time all episode.
And we had sex and I got pregnant.
Miss Murray, did you ever tell the other guy you were pregnant?
Yes.
You did, and what was his response?
I mean, he's still relevant in my life, but he's not
He's active with Winter. They take pictures together.
Jerome carries out the envelope like it holds the weight of the entire episode, because it does. Every denial, every allegedly, every messy timestamp is about to be confirmed or shattered. Ms. Murray holds herself together. Mr. Lee tries to look unbothered. Winter, completely innocent, has no idea what's at stake.
Why are you so certain?
The window of conception, and even after I told Mr. Lee that it could have been another possible father, he told me that if she wasn't his, I owe him a baby.
Judge Lake slows down before reading. She reminds the room what this has always been about. Not club rules or old grudges, but a real child who deserves truth. She opens the envelope deliberately, word by word. Ms. Murray stops breathing. Mr. Lee blinks hard. The gallery leans in as one.
You don't do anything for
And
her.
she's talking about obsession. She's obsessed with me.
Boy, you ain't nobody.
Why do you say that?
She wants me to save her, and I can't save her.
You can't say, I don't need saving. Saving for what?
I can't give you that family imagery.
Everything that's been said, every insult, every contradiction, every date on that board is suspended in the air right now. One person in this courtroom is about to be proven right. The other has nowhere left to hide. No more stories. No more allegedly. Just the result.
When I first told you I was pregnant, though.
Well, one of them gotta be lying.
Him.
But he's fronting.
He lying.
So what are you hoping for, Miss Murray?
I just really want Mr. Lee to step up and be involved in Winter's life.
The camera cuts between Winter's face and two adults whose lives are shifting in real time. This is the part where the comedy stops and the weight settles in. Someone is right, someone is wrong. And after all of this, the drama, the dates, the ego, the only one who truly matters just smiled at the camera and has no idea why everyone looks so nervous.
When it comes to 15-month-old Winter Murray, Mr. Lee, you are the father.
That was your baby say.
Ms. Day doesn't come to play games. He lays it all out with zero hesitation, calling Ms. Day a promiscuous person, a party person, and making it crystal clear that in his mind, there are other contenders for this baby. His theory, she picked him because he's a man who steps up, a good father, someone she could pin this on. And just like that, the battle lines are drawn. His word against hers, his truth against hers. But Ms. Day, she's about to say something that will follow her for the rest of this episode.
Eleni is not my child. This is the reason though, because there's other contenders and she's a promiscuous person. She like to be, you know what I'm saying, she a party person. She do whatever she feel like she want to do.
She looks straight ahead. No hesitation, no flinching, and she says it. I am the Virgin Mary. There's no other possibilities. The courtroom shifts, the air changes, because this woman has just staked her entire case on a claim so absolute, so biblical, that there is nowhere left to hide if she's wrong. She wasn't with anyone else. She's certain, she's immovable, and she has just set herself up for one of the most spectacular falls in paternity court history.
What do you do?
He is not the father of my child. I am the Virgin Mary. There's no other possibilities. I have not been messing around with anybody else.
Then Mr. Harrington drops a detail that reframes everything. He didn't hear about this pregnancy from Ms. Day. He heard it from an anonymous texter, a stranger, a tip. He even brought the message as evidence. And suddenly the question isn't just about paternity. It's about why a woman who claims to be 100% certain of her child's father couldn't bring herself to pick up the phone and tell him directly.
First of all, she didn't even tell me. She didn't even tell me that she was pregnant. I had to find out through an anonymous texter that.
How did you find out she was pregnant?
An anonymous texter, I swear. We got into a conversation, I got the text right here.
The timeline starts to unravel. Ms. Day says she found out in January, already 4 months along, which means she was missing periods, missing signs, missing months, without ever realizing something had changed. Mr. Harrington never got that call, never got that conversation. Instead, a stranger told him first. For someone carrying the certainty of the Virgin Mary, the details of her story are beginning to crack under the weight of their own contradictions.
I did tell you I was pregnant.
I found out in January.
I found out in January too. That's when I went to go. Your Honor,
Lord have mercy.
when I found out that I was pregnant.
Ms. Day's sister, Ebony Hall, steps up to the stand. Her testimony lands like a grenade. At the hospital, she claims, Mr. Harrington asked for the baby to be named Naya, a name. He gave this child a name. And now, Ebony says, the only reason he's standing in this courtroom denying everything is because his girlfriend threatened to walk, and he's not trying to go back home to his mama. A motive, a reason to lie. The plot just got a whole lot thicker.
Miss Hall, what relationship are you to Miss Day?
I'm her sister, her older sister.
Her older sister. And what do you know about the birth of Nalani that would indicate, since you are her witness,
Nothing.
that Mr. Harrington is Nalani's biological father.
Mr. Harrington doesn't argue. He calculates. He pulls out a conception calculator, plugs in the due date of August 3rd, and the math spits back a conception date of November 10th. He left in the middle of October. The numbers don't lie, and if they're right, he was already gone before this baby was ever conceived. It's not just a denial anymore. It's evidence, and Ms. Day's entire narrative is now standing on very thin ice.
And I'm gonna tell you, because the conception date.
So you're saying her conception date is wrong?
It isn't right because I went to only one of her appointments or whatever, and the doctor said, yeah, August 3rd, 2018 was her due date.
Judge Lake closes in. She reminds Ms. Day of her own words, that she and Mr. Harrington were intimate in September and October. Ms. Day admits she didn't chill with anyone else until November 15th. The judge asks the obvious question, does chill mean sex? And Ms. Day pivots, pulls back, redefines her own language right there on the stand. It's a small moment, but it says everything. When your words start needing footnotes, your credibility has already left the building.
And in the previous testimony, Ms. Day, you did admit that you weren't intimate with other guys until November because you were with him September, October.
Yes, ma'am. I wish that I had the messages. I went back to look at it.
The testimony descends into territory nobody expected. Mr. Harrington makes a very specific claim about what he was and wasn't doing during their October encounters. Ms. Day is floored. She fires back. You obviously don't know. I know I was the one who ended up pregnant from your actions. It's raw, it's uncomfortable, and it cuts right to the center of what this case is really about. Two people with two completely different versions of the same story, and only science to settle it.
Because you said you all were still being intimate in October, that's when Mr. Harrington even admitted that that was during the time when he was still completing the sexual act.
No, I wasn't completing it in October.
You wasn't?
I wasn't.
You wasn't?
I wasn't.
You wasn't. Are you serious?
And then she slips. I hope he's not the father. The words leave her mouth before she can catch them. She corrects herself almost immediately, doubles down on her certainty, insists the results cannot come back any other way. But Judge Lake heard it. The courtroom heard it. And somewhere beneath all that biblical confidence, a crack has been revealed. A doubt she refuses to speak out loud but couldn't quite keep hidden.
All day.
I know he is the father.
So let's just be honest before we open this envelope. Could it come back some other way?
No, it cannot. I know that could be only one other person.
You don't know.
Mr. Harrington, you are not the father. The room detonates. He's on his feet. He wants to Millie Rock. He is vindication personified. Every denial, every argument, every moment he was doubted, all of it collapsed into this single defining result. He was right. He knew it. And now the whole world knows it too.
When it comes to 1 month old Nalani Day, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Harrington, you are not the father.
But Judge Lake is not about to let him walk out of here feeling like a hero. She shuts the celebration down with the precision of a surgeon. She tells him to Millie Rock himself straight to the drugstore for condoms. She takes apart his chauffeur comment piece by piece. Because yes, he's not the father today, but his choices, his behavior, that's a round-trip ticket back to this exact courtroom. The win doesn't erase the lesson.
You need to Millie Rock yourself to the drugstore and get some condoms. Hold on. Because don't start clowning. All of you men running around here talking about, I'm a chauffeur.
She turns to Ms. Day, quiet now, humbled. The Virgin Mary claim long buried. I did not see you come down from the heavens, the judge says. Soft, but it lands like a verdict on its own. She asks if Ms. Day now knows who the real father is. Ms. Day says yes, and Judge Lake's voice shifts, because beneath all of this, there is a little girl, a child who had no part in any of this, and she deserves the truth. She deserves her father.
And I did not see you come down from the heavens and land there at that podium, so you still are Kayla Day.
Right.
So now we're here, we got the answer. Do you know who Nalani's father is? Because that's my real question.
The final ruling is delivered without cruelty, but without mercy either. No shame in your game, but you need to find out whether it's God number 1, God number 2, or God number 22. And there it is. The case closes not with a dramatic finish, but with a quiet, devastating truth. The Virgin Mary has been mortal all along, and now it's time to face what that actually means.
She deserves her daddy. It's all out now. We ain't got to lie about it. We ain't got to act like it didn't happen. It happened because she's here. You got to get outside of yourself now. You got to be the mother that you need to be. It's got to be no shame in your game.
Judge Lake opens Shands versus Hollis. Ms. Shands wants paternity confirmed for her 15-month-old son, Aiden, the child she had with her first love. Mr. Hollis and his mother aren't buying it, calling her a liar. Two former high school sweethearts, one baby, zero agreement.
Mr. Hollis, you are here with your mother and you both testify that Ms. Shands is a pathological liar and you both don't believe you fathered her son, but claim to know who did. Is this correct?
Ms. Shands comes in emotional. Mr. Hollis was her first everything, and she wants the court to make it official. The feelings are real, the biology less certain.
I'm gonna start with you, Ms. Shands. Tell the court, what do you want to accomplish today?
Today, I would like to accomplish that Amir is the father of my child. He has been in my baby life ever since my baby has been 3 months.
Mr. Hollis hits back fast. He caught her cheating repeatedly, and after one bad argument, she moves straight to his friend. In his mind, her history of betrayal is exactly why he can't trust this child is his.
I caught this Irish cheating so many times, like it don't make no sense. Like it's just after middle school, like after when we hit high school, everything was going straight. Like her freshman year.
Ms. Shands doesn't deny it. She slept with his friend as payback because he'd done the same. Judge Lake is visibly done with both of them. Two teenagers weaponizing intimacy created one innocent child caught in the middle.
Mr. Amir, he was messing with one of my friends.
I don't
and
know.
We both were young at the time. We both were young. So
both y'all young now?
Yeah.
Judge Lake gets to the point. Was protection used? No. Were both men in the picture at the same time? Yes. The DNA test stops being optional the moment those two answers land.
This just sounds about silly. So you have revenge sex with one of his friends. And did you use protection?
No.
And then how many times did you have sex with this friend of his?
Multiple times.
Ms. Shands didn't find out she was pregnant until 5 months in. The first person she told wasn't Mr. Hollis, it was the friend. That one decision poisoned any chance of trust between them.
My godmother, we used to be on the porch, like just when she was doing people's hair, we used to be on the porch. She was like, you pregnant, you pregnant. I used to be like, stop jinxing me, stop jinxing me. And one day I went to the clinic and I found out I was 5 months pregnant.
5 months?
5 months.
It gets messier. Even while she was with the friend, she was still sneaking back to Mr. Hollis. Nobody was exclusive, nobody was honest, and nobody was careful.
Okay, yeah, that did happen as well.
So you were sleeping with both boys at the same time?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you find out you're pregnant. You tell the other guy first. What was his response?
Mr. Hollis found out she'd gone into labor from someone at school. The other man was in the delivery room. That exclusion stuck and quietly became the foundation of his doubt.
Who was with you?
The friend was with me when Aiden was born.
In the hospital?
In the hospital. In labor.
In labor.
And my mom, I sent my mom there because I knew there was a possibility that my son could be the dad as well.
Ms. Shands' argument for paternity is the baby's face. Her mother-in-law even FaceTimed to agree the baby looked like him. The court has seen this movie before. Feelings aren't DNA.
Because like, my baby had more futures than him than the other guy.
Yes, he did.
He looked nothing like the other guy at all.
The stakes sharpen. The two men are actively beefing, and Mr. Hollis's mother fears where it leads. She lost his father to that kind of conflict. This stopped being a paternity dispute a long time ago.
He hears it off the streets because everybody on the streets tell him that the baby looked like Aiden, the baby looked like Amir, the baby looked like Amir.
He think he is child.
But in his mind, he's running around the streets saying, this is my baby.
Despite everything, Mr. Hollis admits he loves Aiden. The bond is real, regardless of biology, which makes what's coming next all the harder.
It's a real strong relationship. Like, I got attached, like, real fast. I can't even, he loved me, like, every time I come around.
So you have a real bond with this baby. Miss Shands, has this other guy developed a relationship with Aiden as well?
Judge Lake reads the result. Mr. Hollis is not the father. Ms. Shands wanted the science to confirm what her heart already decided. It didn't. Now everyone has to start over with the truth.
When it comes to 15-month-old Aiden Shands, Mr. Hollis, you are not the father.
She trying to pin this baby on me because she know I'm a good guy and I'm a good father.
You're not a good anything. You're a deadbeat. You barely take care of them 6 kids that you got.
And Winter's 15 months, and you're saying that Mr. Lee hasn't done anything for her?
He's not done nothing.
Well, she likes playing.
She was at her grandma's house because they was already broke up because he cheated on her so many times and she was letting it go. Knew about it.
Okay.
Knew about it.
She's
knew
the
about it
cheater,
and all
just like
that.
that's why he's so protective.
2 men, 1 child, and a mother who admitted there was more than one possibility. Today in paternity court, Mr. Patterson is fighting for 4-year-old DeMarcus Jr., a boy he named after himself, while Ms. Knight confirms that Mr. Ladarius Sigler could also be the father. This one hits different from the jump.
Mr. Patterson, you opened your case today to prove that you are 4-year-old DeMarcus Patterson Jr.'s biological father. You named him and have cared for your junior since birth and are furious the defendant now claims another man is his father.
Patterson describes holding the baby for the first time, says the boy looked up at him and stopped crying. That memory clearly lives rent-free in his chest, but Judge Lake steers the ship. Ms. Knight explained this other man. She does, calmly. Says she told Patterson from the start there was a possibility.
When the doctor first, held him up and finally gave him to him, I witnessed him just completely quit crying and looked me dead in my eyes, and that's when, at that moment I knew I became someone's father. So at that moment, like all the doubts that we had before, I just knew like they were just out the window and just...
The timeline unravels fast. They were on and off. Patterson cheated. Knight left. She started seeing Ladarius. That ended too. Then came the call. I might be pregnant. Emotional ping pong doesn't even cover it.
The house hopping thing, because when she moved out of her parents' house, she ain't had nowhere to go, so let her live there too.
I mean, that's how we started our relationship. We were together every day since then. DeMarcus ended up cheating on me within the time we were together, and I ended up leaving with Ladarius.
Judge Lake slows it down. Knight confirms she had protected sex with Ladarius until the protection ran out. Then she told him to go ahead anyway. The audience loses it. Even the judge looks like she needs a moment.
When you left, you ended up with Mr. Sigler.
Right.
Which is the other possible father.
Right. We ended up having protected sex that night, and then we ran out of condoms, and while we were doing it...
The second she found out she was pregnant, she called Patterson. His response? Come home. He picked her up, carried her bags, and chose to start over, knowing full well the child might not be his. That's a certain kind of love. Whether it's wisdom or not is another conversation.
DeMarcus was there. He was there when my water broke. We woke him up, said, baby, my water broke. Time to go to the hospital. He hopped up. All right, let's do this. So we was in the hospital that whole day, had the baby. He didn't get to cut the umbilical cord because the doctor took it upon himself to cut it.
When her water broke, Patterson was the one rushing her to the hospital. He couldn't cut the cord, but he was there. The moment the baby arrived, he reportedly shouted, "That's my baby." And just like that, DeMarcus Jr. had a name, though they can't even agree on who pushed for the junior. Judge Lake tries not to smile. She fails.
So you signed the birth certificate?
Yes, Your Honor, I signed the birth certificate.
Willingly?
Yes, Your Honor.
Without a doubt at that time, you went on and signed it?
Yes, Your Honor. I mean, I was gonna do the DNA test.
Okay,
and I
right.
looked at him, and then that's when I threw the DNA test out the picture.
Patterson admits he originally planned to get a DNA test, then threw that plan out the moment he saw the baby's face. Ms. Knight says she was in love and went along with it, but naming a child after a man when paternity is uncertain, bold doesn't begin to describe it.
And in your young mind, this is how you clean up this whole mess. And so in the last 4 years, has Mr. Patterson been there for DeMarcus?
He's been there.
He has. Does DeMarcus Jr. call Mr. Patterson daddy?
Yeah.
Judge Lake puts it directly to Knight. Why give him that name if you weren't sure? Knight sighs. Because he demanded it. Patterson's jaw tightens. The judge raises her hand before the room combusts.
He phoned now, so I look at
and
him
the
now.
conversation about DNA tests this is not the first time I brought it up. I done set appointments. No one wants to help me with half the payment.
I help with that. Now, it's just, I know you evil. If they say that I don't get to take my name off or have a DNA test, you'll put me on child support if you could.
Look.
Patterson reminds everyone he signed that birth certificate with full awareness of the risk. He wanted to be this boy's father. Knight's expression says she never asked him to forget the uncertainty. The weight in the room shifts. This man's whole heart is riding on a test.
So the other possible father is your god brother?
Right.
Oh.
Ladarius.
Why are you making this look bad?
Lord. You decided to let her and the other guy in DeMarcus Jr.'s life as well.
Then Sigler walks in. Calm, measured, a little emotional. Judge Lake asks if he's hoping to be the father. He says, "The love I have for him is real." quiet, but it lands hard. Patterson stares straight ahead.
When you saw those pictures,
That's
you
when
felt
when I really started letting him in DJ's life. That's when Mama came and got him every other day when she can, or when I needed her to. He'll go pick him up, drop him off over there. All that. We are a big happy family. I don't know why you pretend.
Knight is holding it together, barely, hands fidgeting, eyes moving between both men. Judge Lake cuts through the tension cleanly. Both of these men love this child, but only one is the father. The room feels smaller suddenly.
Thank you for joining us today.
Pleasure.
As you are aware, we are discussing the paternity of DeMarcus Patterson, a young boy who has Mr. Patterson's name, but could potentially have your DNA.
Patterson says it kills him that his son calls another man daddy, then places the blame squarely on Knight. Judge Lake corrects him without blinking. No, sir, this is all of your mess. Silence. That's the show right there.
When did you learn that you were, in fact, potentially DJ's biological father?
Okay, prior to that picture right there, I seen him probably a week before that picture. And he was 3 months old when I first met DeMarcus. He was 3 months.
Sigler speaks again, quietly but powerfully. If nobody else loves me, that boy will. Even Patterson nods. The courtroom softens for exactly 3 seconds before Judge Lake announces it's time for the results.
When did you learn that you were, in fact, potentially DJ's biological father?
Okay, prior to that picture right there, I seen him probably a week before that picture. And he was 3 months old when I first met DeMarcus.
Nobody's breathing. Knight looks down. Patterson's jaw is set like stone. Sigler is still. The envelope is in Judge Lake's hands and she holds it like a verdict on someone's entire life, because it is. Are you ready? Knight whispers, no ma'am.
The love that I have for him is the same love that he had for me. I know one thing about this young man. If don't nobody else love me, he gonna love me.
And so, Mr. Patterson, I have to ask you, how do you feel knowing that your son is calling another man daddy too?
The papers shuffle. The room goes silent. In the case of Patterson versus Knight, pertaining to 4-year-old DeMarcus Patterson Jr., she pauses.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Sigler. You are DJ's biological father, Mr. Sigler. What do you feel right now?
Some people search their whole lives for a missing piece. Ms. Moore searched for hers so hard, she dropped out of school. Today in paternity court, she's sitting across from her own mother, Ms. Nelson, demanding the truth she never got. Greg Wright might be her last shot.
Ms. Moore, you claim that you've lived your entire life asking the question, who is my dad?
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge Lauren doesn't waste time. She names what's happening plainly. A woman who spent 20 years chasing a ghost. Ms. Moore barely holds it together. The weight of it is all over her face.
Now, according to your statement, those men proved not to be your daughter's father, and therefore, Mr. Wright, the man waiting outside of the courtroom today, is your last hope.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Williams, you're
but that's
here
not right
for
because
support.
I have told her.
Ms. Nelson comes in defensive before anyone even accuses her of anything. This was my last-ditch effort. Already bracing for impact, Judge Lake tries to steady the room, but the resentment between these two didn't build overnight.
I gave you the name. No, you did not. 19 years old, I gave you it.
No, you did
yes,
not.
I have.
You only gave me Greg Wright's name.
No, that was the last one that I gave you.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only name.
Ladies, let's have some order in the court.
Moore takes the court back to her childhood, and it's not pretty. 6 schools, raising younger siblings, no stability, no father figure, barely any friends. I couldn't even have friends, she says, and that one line lands like a punch.
About your childhood, because you're saying that your entire life it was told to you by your mother that she just had no idea who your father was.
Well, Your Honor, during my childhood growing up, it was rough. You know, we've changed.
Ms. Nelson isn't trying to hear any of it. Every memory Moore shares gets shot down. That's not true. Judge Lake finally has to step in, one voice at a time, or this falls apart completely.
And Ms. Nelson, I promise, I am going to get to yours and listen to yours as well. Ms. Moore, please proceed about the way you saw your childhood.
The way I saw my childhood, it was rough. We moved house to house with all of her different boyfriends.
Moore pushes through anyway. She watched every friend talk about their dad while she had nothing, not even a name. Why wouldn't she tell me until I turned 18? Her voice breaks. 20 years of that question, right there.
No. Give him a bat.
No, you told me to. You told me to. No.
a sister to them is
I was
changing their diapers.
I was
when
being a little more than a
cooking or
sister to
cleaning.
them.
That's the only time.
It's your contention that life without a father proved to be extremely difficult for you.
I grew up without a father, and I did fine.
Judge Lake asks Ms. Nelson directly, does she understand what she put her daughter through? Nelson admits she never knew her father either and just learned to deal with it. Calm answer, but calm doesn't mean healed.
That it was very difficult for you not having your father, so you can understand how your daughter would feel.
I do
as
understand,
well.
but she thinks that I kept it from her. I didn't keep it from her. She came out to me at 9 or 10, somewhere around there, that she came to me. It was too young.
Judge Lake draws the line that changes everything. Both women grew up fatherless. Both felt abandoned. And here they are, the cycle still spinning. The courtroom goes quiet. Even Ms. Nelson seems to finally feel the full weight of it.
Yeah, you did. You said
No,
you were
I did not.
You said you were homeschooled.
No, that's a
Ladies, I can't understand you when you're both speaking at the same time. Ms. Moore, you looked for your father on the internet.
Yes, she gave me the name of Greg Wright, so, I looked it up. I looked up on the internet, and...
Mr. Williams, there for moral support, tries to defend Nelson. She's been through enough. Moore's response is instant. This isn't about her feelings. No hesitation, no mercy.
Yeah. We met up that same day after I called him. He followed me to my my place.
You were out with friends when you found out.
He even thought it was, it sounded right.
And he's the man that's here in court today.
Yes.
Mother and daughter go at it again. Moore says she only ever got one name. Nelson says that was all she had. It spirals until Judge Lake shuts it down cold. We're here for answers, not arguments. Room goes still.
Hello, sir. Thank you for joining us. You may be seated, of course. Please state your name for the record.
Gregory Todd Wright.
Mr. Wright, we've been talking to Ms. Moore, who's your potential daughter.
Judge Lake refocuses everyone. Greg Wright is outside. He's the last name on the list. Ms. Moore leans forward, hands locked together. I just want to know where I come from. That's it. That's the whole case.
Or something. And she come across, she said, do you know Michelle Klinger? I said, I dated her when we were in high school. And she goes, well, that's my mom. And here recently, she told me that there's a good chance you're my father.
The judge presses Ms. Nelson on the timeline. More than one man, correct? She hesitates, then nods. That pause says more than the answer.
Got to meet her oldest son, and we were sitting there looking at her and thinking, well, wait a minute, he looks just like you, son. And so we got to talking, and I've grown attached to her and her kids. And I would do anything, help her.
Moore breaks completely. She dropped out of school for this, spent her teenage years making calls, chasing rumors, looking for any thread that could lead her somewhere. Even Judge Lake looks moved.
Why is it that you have an issue with this relationship that your daughter has formed with Mr. Wright? If he is, in fact,
I don't
the person...
have an issue. I don't have a problem. She wants, every time that I don't have money or somebody does not have money.
The envelope comes out. Moore wipes her face. Nelson whispers what sounds like a prayer. Judge Lake holds the moment. Are we ready for the truth? The whole room holds its breath.
In the case of Moore versus Nelson Wright, Ms. Moore, Mr. Wright is not the biological father.
Mr. Wiseman opened his home to someone he considered a genuine friend. Mr. New needed a place to stay, and he didn't hesitate. What he didn't know was that the same man eating at his table was allegedly sleeping with his girlfriend, Ms. Duncan, behind his back. Now the two of them are standing in front of a judge fighting over who fathered 2-year-old Brett.
So you're both here locked in a paternity dispute over which of you fathered 2-year-old Brett Wiseman. Mr. New, you claim when you first moved in, your relationship with Mr. Wiseman's girlfriend.
The betrayal didn't happen overnight, it was a slow burn. According to Mr. Wiseman, the pattern was simple. He'd go to bed, and Mr. New would stay up alone with Miss Duncan. She'd vent to him about their relationship, and instead of keeping it real with his friend, Mr. New apparently played the role of the supportive shoulder. The emotional intimacy grew from there.
Right.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim you're very protective of her, so much so you would not let her appear in this courtroom today because
Yes, Your Honor.
she's pregnant with your child.
High-risk pregnancy, yes, Your Honor.
The suspicions were rooted in things he actually witnessed. Mr. Wiseman describes moments that, in hindsight, read very differently. The two of them playing with a water hose, getting physical, leaning into each other in ways that crossed a line. Every time he walked over, Ms. Duncan would pull back. Mr. New's defense is that all of this happened after Brett was already born, and they were an established couple by then.
Yes, Your Honor.
Please tell me about this paternity dispute.
Well, how it came in play was she cheated on me with his cousin, and I would go to sleep, and I didn't know that my cousin was going to sleep early, and they would be downstairs, just him and her. She would be telling him.
Mr. New eventually runs out of careful words. He admits plainly that when he and Miss Duncan first got together, she was still sleeping with Mr. Wiseman. His version frames Mr. Wiseman as a serial cheater who only held on through manipulation, someone who, according to him, literally cried to get his way.
Over, and they would be sitting there, like, for instance, with a water hose, all sitting there getting each other wet, all hugged up, and then when I would walk up,
Your Honor, that
Amanda would walk
Your Honor,
away
that
from
was
her.
after Brett was even born. That was when me and her was already together.
Ms. Duncan joins the conversation via video and doesn't hide from any of it. She confirms she was leaning on Mr. New emotionally, confirms things turned physical, and confirms that it happened right in the window Brett could have been conceived. Her relationship with Mr. Wiseman was unstable at the time, her words, and when asked about protection, she admits she wasn't using any with either man. There's no gray area left after that confession.
Yes, so how it happened was me and Jeremiah were going through problems. Tyler, Jeremiah, and I were friends at the time.
So when you say Jeremiah, that's Mr. Wiseman?
Yes.
Okay.
Tyler was like somebody I confided in at the time, and
Despite the whispers that had already started spreading, Mr. Wiseman signed Brett's birth certificate. Miss Duncan had told him he was the father, and he believed her. He was present through the pregnancy, showed up for the birth, and tried to be there. But doubt doesn't just disappear, especially when it comes from family.
Yeah, she definitely had me trying to believe I was the father.
And at any point, did she change her tune? Did say, on second thought, it could be Mr. New?
I signed the birth certificate and everything.
Mr. New brings a witness, and it turns out to be Miss Duncan's own sister, Miss Prater. She argues that regardless of biology, Mr. New has been the one actively present in Brett's life for the past year and a half, and if Mr. Wiseman is the father, he needs to show up accordingly.
Your name?
Heather Prater.
Miss Prater, you are Mr. New. What relationship are you to Mr. New?
I am Amanda's sister.
You're Amanda, Miss Duncan's sister.
Yes.
What do you have to add?
Judge Lake surfaces a contradiction that had been sitting in the room the whole time. Legally, Mr. Wiseman is Brett's father. His name is on the birth certificate, but in practice, it's Mr. New who has been in the home, covering expenses and showing up daily. 2-year-old Brett is caught between a legal reality and a lived one, with 2 men in conflict and a mother in the middle.
And yet, Mr. New is the person taking care of the child financially because he lives in the home with you both.
He can. He won't. He don't want to.
How old is Brett? He's 2?
The results confirm it. Mr. Wiseman is Brett's biological father. His response is immediate. I'll definitely step up. Mr. New's response is equally immediate. I bet you don't. The answer they came for has been delivered, but what follows it isn't relief. It's more friction. A DNA result can settle the science.
It has been determined that the biological father is Mr. Wiseman.
Betty don't do nothing about it.
Judge Lake calls Hodges versus Willard. Mr. Hodges and his mother say Ms. Willard is a liar who slept around. He's not the father of her 1-month-old Lillian. Ms. Willard and her mother swear he's the dad. 2 families, 1 baby, 0 agreement.
You may be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This was a case of Hodges versus Willard.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone.
Mr. Hodges gets straight to it. She cheated, and he even caught a man hiding in the house. She promised she'd never hurt him. Clearly, that didn't hold. The pain on his face says this isn't just about a baby. It's about a betrayal he never saw coming.
She had one hidden in the room, and whenever we first got together, she said that she would never hurt me or cheat on me. She would be truthful, and yet she's lied to me left and right.
Miss Willard, you kept lying and you kept cheating?
No, I didn't.
Ms. Willard says the hidden man was just an old friend. She didn't mention him because she knew it would cause drama. That explanation lands with a thud. You don't hide a friend. You hide something you're not supposed to have.
Now, yes, he was visiting because he was a childhood friend, and I didn't tell him because I knew he'd flip out because I know how he is.
I want to understand the nature of this relationship. Where did you meet?
I met him.
Mr. Hodges' mother, Miss Blevins, says she's the one who pushed to bring this case. She found another man tucked away in the bedroom. Miss Willard's mother says they'd broken up at the time and hid him to avoid trouble. Except nobody can even agree on whether they were together or not. This relationship had no solid ground from the start.
You are the one who pushed your son to open this case.
Yes, Your Honor.
And why did you do that?
Because I knew that she had been cheating on him. He had caught her with another guy that she said was a friend, but yet he was hidden in her house when my son got there.
You found him hiding in the house?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hiding in the house where?
Then the real bomb drops. Ms. Willard was already married to someone else when she got engaged to Mr. Hodges. Judge Lake asks directly. Ms. Willard confirms it. The room shifts. This isn't a messy situation anymore. It's a full cover-up.
Didn't know about.
So you were engaged to Mr. Hodges, but you were married to another guy at the time?
Yes, Your Honor.
I feel like he has been deceived and took advantage of.
What would
Ms. Blevins says she clocked Ms. Willard as sneaky from day one, always hiding her phone, secret messages. She pulls out texts from another man who was present at Lillian's birth. Not a feeling, hard evidence. The picture forming is of a woman running multiple lives at once.
Never let him get a hold of it, and when she was on it and he would come around, she would hide it. I've had messages from a guy that she was seeing while she was seeing my son.
Judge Lake reads the messages out loud. The other man lays out their relationship in plain detail. Ms. Willard denies it was simultaneous. The texts say otherwise. His own words, "So she cheated on both of us," say it best. Her credibility is gone.
At the same time?
No, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
So why is this man saying this? He's giving all these specific details to Miss Blevins.
He was at the hospital when Lillian was born.
Yes, I was with him at that time.
It gets stranger. Ms. Willard was calling Mr. Hodges claiming to still be pregnant, texting about appointments and underdeveloped lungs, while the baby was already born. She kept up a fake pregnancy update for a child already in the world. That takes effort. Deliberate, calculated effort.
Miss Willard was pregnant.
She called me and she said that she was 8 months pregnant, and
8 months?
yes, later on down the road, I'm sitting there texting her every day, asking.
Cornered, Ms. Willard tries a new angle. She didn't want to interfere with Mr. Hodges' marriage. Judge Lake shuts it down immediately. He already knew about the pregnancy. The excuses keep changing because none of them are true. She's out of runway.
Lies. Already. What is going on? Why are you texting him like the baby isn't born when the baby is born?
Okay, he's married now.
She denies telling the other man he could be the father, then admits he asked for a DNA test. You can't have it both ways. The story shifts mid-answer, and Judge Lake catches every turn. She is visibly unraveling.
I just asked you, did you tell the other guy, could he possibly be the biological father, and you said no?
I never told him that. He wanted a DNA test, so I was gonna give him one. And then we found out he was the dad, and he was like, well, don't worry about it, because now I know.
How'd you find out he was the dad? We're here in this courtroom to find out.
Then, one honest moment. Ms. Willard breaks down and says, I just wanted a family. Everything stops. For all the lies and chaos, that line explains it all. Not excuses it, but explains it. A woman so desperate for something real, she built it out of things that weren't.
All of the lies you tell?
You may be honest with you, he's married, and I just wanted a family.
It's okay. You can take your time.
Judge Lake reads the results. Mr. Hodges is the father. Messy road, but they arrive somewhere that matters. A little girl with a confirmed dad who wants her, and a mother who finally has to face the truth. Not the ending anyone planned, but maybe the one they all needed.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Hodges, you are the father.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Today, 4 cases where fathers fought for the truth, and the results changed everything. A man battles a mother who blocks both possible dads from her child. An 8-year relationship crumbles when DNA confirms one child but not the other. A woman who spent 30 years calling 2 men dad finally learns which one is real. And a 25-year search ends with 2 fathers in the same courtroom. Let's get into it.
Mr. Clark, you're here to prove to Ms. Bolden that you are the biological father of her 3-year-old daughter, LaKearney Clark. And once the DNA results prove you're right, you want to be able to spend more time with your daughter.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Bolden, you say that you've always told Mr. Clark he was not your daughter's father and hope that once these results are revealed...
Andre Clark is all in. He signed the birth certificate, bonded with that little girl, and has zero doubt she's his. But Ms. Bolden tells a different story. She says she argued with Clark about bills, stormed out, called her ex Mr. Moore, and got a hotel room that same night. She says that's when the child was conceived. The question is whether she ever told Clark the truth.
You didn't. Were you at the hospital when the baby was born?
After, Your Honor.
After, did you sign the birth certificate?
Yes, Your Honor.
You did?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, let me see that, Jerome, please. And so, Ms. Bolden, all this is going on, and he's signing the birth certificate, and he thinks this is his child, and you know in your mind, you say that it's not?
Yes. She claims she told him before the baby was born. He says that never happened. She only brought it up after the child was already here. They can't agree on when the truth came out. But either way, he signed the birth certificate and started raising that little girl. And the judge wants to know what happened once the bond was already formed.
What point did you find this out?
During the relationship, I knew she cheated on me and did all of this, but like I said, I had no doubt that she was my daughter. I always felt like that. No doubt in my mind whatsoever.
So when she was born,
she watched him build a relationship with that child for an entire year and said nothing. Her reason, she didn't want to hurt his feelings. But eventually she brought it up again, and her reasoning had nothing to do with honesty. She said the baby just didn't look like him. That's what made her say something. And the access situation between these parents is about to get a lot worse.
I mean, we stayed arguing all the time. You know, she made statements, I guess just to hurt me, that she wasn't mine, but yet and still, I had no doubt in my mind that little girl is mine. I always felt like she was my daughter, and I feel like this still. Whenever me and LaKernan meet, it's magical.
He says the connection is real. She says it's only because the child doesn't know anyone else. And that's when the judge digs into how Ms. Bolden handles access, and what comes out next is hard to believe. Neither Mr. Clark nor the other possible father, Mr. Moore, has any reliable way to contact this woman or see this child.
They know where my brother stayed. They know where my grandma lives at. I be over there checking on her sometimes, but I just don't want them having my number.
So, Ms. Bolden, does Mr. Clark have your number, and does he get to see LaKernan?
Only time he get to see her is when she's at my sister's house. No, he don't have my number, and no, he don't know where I stay.
3 new phone numbers a month. Neither possible father has her contact information. The only way to see that child is to show up at a relative's house and hope she happens to be there. The judge can barely process it. And Mr. Clark is about to explain what happened last Christmas that pushed him to the breaking point, a moment that shows just how far the mother will go to keep him out.
I believe that because she looks just like me and my son, you know.
So you see a strong resemblance?
Yes.
Think she looks like you?
Yes.
So now, do you want to be her father? You want to be there for her?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
How involved have you been in her life?
Not that much.
So if you want her to be your child and you think she's your child, why are you not involved in her life?
Even the second possible father can't get near this child. Same story. The mother won't let him in. But what makes this case truly wild is what happens with the witnesses. Mr. Moore's own sister takes the stand, but she's not standing with her brother. She's standing with Mr. Clark, and her testimony about the mother's contradictions throws the entire case into doubt.
Clark, when you hear about how she's allowing the Moore family to really take LaKernan in and accept her as their own, what does that make you feel like?
It upsets me. Like this past Christmas, you know,
Christmas gifts on the porch. His daughter wasn't even there. The mother confirmed she left them outside. Meanwhile, she's posting photos on Facebook of Mr. Moore holding the child. Photos she knew Clark would see. That man has been fighting to be present, and at every turn, the door stays shut. The witnesses are about to reveal something the judge didn't see coming.
Yes, Your Honor.
What do you have to add to this?
Well, Your Honor, the reason why I'm here is because LaToya and Mr. Clark were staying together at the time that the baby was made, but she told my brother it was his baby as well. So
The mother changed her story depending on who she was talking to. Told one man the baby was his, told the other it wasn't, then reversed it. Even Mr. Moore's own sister has doubts. And inside that courtroom, the child calls both men daddy. Ms. Bolden confirms it. The judge asks if that's confusing for a 3-year-old. The answer is obvious. Time for the results.
It has been determined by this court that the biological father is Mr. Clark.
DNA confirmed. Legal father. And the mother still hesitates. The judge had to remind her this is not optional. He has the right to see his daughter. 3 phone numbers a month, gifts left on a porch, and a child calling 2 men daddy. All of that has to end. He was right all along, and now the court is behind him. Moving on.
Mr. Brown, you say you have always believed you were the biological father of the defendant's daughter, Jaira Lever. You have loved her and taken care of her, but now the defendant is denying you are Jaira's dad. You are hoping today's results prove your case. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Christopher Brown has been in this child's life since birth. Fed her, bathed her, took her to every doctor's appointment. But Ms. Lever says none of that matters. She's convinced he's not the biological father, and this case has a twist that separates it from anything we've seen so far.
In the beginning, there was really no conversation as far as the paternity of Jaira. It came into question, we were at a football game one day, and a mutual friend even revealed to me that she was pregnant. And they also told me that there was a possibility that I might not be the father.
He heard the rumors from a friend at a football game. He didn't care. Every time he came home from work, they were together. Groceries, errands, everything. He says they were inseparable. She confirms they had a real relationship, but says it's been rocky for 8 years, and she admits she slept with her ex.
My ex and I, we were intimate at the hospital during that time.
At the hospital?
Yes, ma'am, and Mr. Brown was not around.
Your
And
Honor,
he
in
was
July-
not there.
In July, I was at home. Miss Lever and I also were intimate July 4th in our home by the back door.
Oh my God.
No.
At the hospital during a family crisis. By the back door on July 4th while the kids popped fireworks down the street. Both of them claim July 2011. Both claim intimacy. She's at one location, he's at another, and both stories can't be true at the same time. The only way to settle this is the DNA. But before that, the mother has a few more surprises in store.
Yes, ma'am. This is a mess, but he is not her father, and I told him that from day one. This has been a mess, and I told Mr. Brown that he was not her father because, like, this is my ex, you know? And when I end up getting pregnant...
She says she told him from the start. He says the child carries his family's name, and that's where the birth certificate comes in, because what's actually written on that document is about to blow up one of their stories. But the judge has something else to address first. There's a second child named Genesis, and the paternity question completely reverses for that one.
Even though you said you were in this roller coaster relationship, Ms. Lever, and Jaira is your ex's biological child, you all did not break up. You have a second child who's in question, Genesis.
Yes, ma'am. Can I say something?
Even when we broke up, Your Honor?
For Jaira, he's certain he's the father. For Genesis, he says he's not. The roles completely reverse between the two children, and it gets even more confusing because the birth certificate tells a different story than either of them expects. She gave his last name to the child he denies and left it off the child he claims. The judge asks to see the paperwork, and the name situation is a mess.
You know when she screams for me to leave, Your Honor? When I'm not working.
You ain't never working!
Your Honor.
So
when
who
I'm
works
not
in this
work-
family?
Nobody. She don't work. She ain't never worked.
I get state assistance. At the
At
end of the day,
no.
you are the man and
At
you
the
living in
end
my
of the
house
day-
and you need to work or leave.
At the end of
You
the
don't
day, Your
work.
Honor.
8 years of this. She's on state assistance. He admits he comes up short financially, but he says he's the one who prays with the children, helps with homework, bathes them, gets them dressed. She wants him out. He refuses to leave because he grew up without a father and won't let his kids experience that.
It sounds like the entire relationship, the entire home life is out of order. And when we have chaos and disorder, children can't grow up healthy and happy. Children can't grow up with good self-esteem.
You know why this really...
And no, I'm talking now, Mr.
Yes,
Brown.
ma'am. Yes,
I
ma'am.
can't solve all of your relationship issues.
One confirmed, one denied. The child he never doubted isn't his. The child he questioned is. 8 years of raising both, and the DNA split right down the middle. He invested everything. His time, his love, his identity as a father, and the results told him half of it was built on a lie.
Ms. Miller, you've summoned the defendant, Mr. White, to court to prove to him that he is not your biological father, even though he has believed he's your father your entire life.
Yes, Your Honor.
The man you now say is your father is waiting in the hallway and will join us in court in a moment. Mr. White, it was only 2 weeks ago.
30 years. That's how long Kenny White believed Miranda Miller was his daughter. And 2 weeks ago, she called and said she wanted a DNA test. But what makes this case unlike anything this court has seen is what's been going on behind the scenes. Another man has been in the picture the entire time, and neither father knew the other existed.
Well, like I said before, I felt selfish because I didn't tell either of them, but I had to build up the nerve to actually call them, and I addressed both of them. Hey, Dad, and I took a deep breath, and I was like, I want you to prove that you're my dad. And Mr. White got...
She carried this since she was a teenager. Her mother told her the truth years ago and left her to manage it alone. Ms. Miller called both men and dropped the news at the same time, but neither knew about the other. She'd been living a double life, calling two men dad, keeping the families completely separate.
Years. If she can find out that I'm not her father out of 30 years, somebody could have told me. And I was with her mother every night. When she was born, I was with her mother 8 years after she was born. So I'm trying to figure out, how did he get in the middle?
And you still have no real information.
8 years under the same roof, every single night, and he never knew another man existed in his daughter's life. The mother kept them completely apart. Different visits, different events, never in the same room. Ms. Miller learned the rules without anyone saying a word, and the way she managed it as a child is something the judge has never seen before.
I'm baffled. But what would happen on Father's Day? Your mother would just have you call both men?
Well, on Father's Day, I never really had Mr. White's number like that. I didn't call him all the time, and he never had my number. I do want to apologize to Mr. White because...
She hid from it. Consciously or not, she put a wall between herself and one of these men because she was afraid of what the truth would cost her. She's closer to Mr. Wright's family, barbecues, parties, birthdays, but she kept all of that off social media so Mr. White's side would never find out. The judge brings Mr. Wright into the courtroom, and his reaction tells you everything.
So you're living a double life. It's almost as if you're in hiding. And is it because you don't want to hurt either side?
My thing is that I love them both. So I'm afraid of the outcome. I don't want to hurt anybody. And I keep telling myself, it's not your fault, it's not your fault.
30 years old, still managing a secret her mother created. She shut down all social media, cut off any trace that could connect the two families, and carried the weight alone. The judge tells her it's not her fault. And she's right. No child should have to navigate two fathers like a covert operation.
Neither one of them were on my birth certificate. And I asked Mr. White. Mr. White said that he thought it was a possibility that I wasn't his child.
No, I didn't say that.
Maybe I heard wrong.
No, I didn't say that. You always been my child. All 30 years. And I'll never say that.
But now she's in court today.
She sees herself in his family, the freckles, the nose, everything. And Mr. Wright agrees completely. But the judge has another photo to show, a side-by-side of Ms. Miller and Mr. White, and the resemblance there is just as strong. Even Mr. Wright admits he sees it.
I think I'm here now to seek my truth because I feel once I do find out the truth, I don't need their help. I will move forward and push to build a relationship with whomever it turns out to be.
I first commend you for having the strength. 30 years old.
She walked in convinced. Now she's not sure. Both photos show resemblance. Both men show love. The judge asks each if they're prepared for a negative result. Mr. White says if it makes her happy, he's happy. Mr. Wright can't consider the possibility. He just says she's his baby.
In the case of Miller, Wright versus White, when it comes to whether Mr. Wright or Mr. White, it has been determined by this court. Ms. Miller's biological father is Mr. White.
The man she was sure was her father wasn't. The man she came to disprove was. 30 years of believing one thing, shattered in a single sentence. But Mr. Wright, through tears, said what every child needs to hear. She will always be his daughter. Biology didn't erase 30 years of love, and neither will a piece of paper from a DNA lab.
Ms. Ames.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're torn between the two men standing in court today because the defendant, Mr. Patton, raised you your entire life believing he was your dad.
Two men, one daughter. One of them raised her from birth, paid over $40,000 in child support, and was there for every milestone. The other spent 25 years searching for her, calling family in New Jersey, and never giving up. The judge wants to hear how it started.
Like, I needed some resolution to it. Take you back. My mother died when I was 13 years old. Never told me that there was a possibility of another man being my father whatsoever. When I was 21 years old, another relative of mine decided to tell me.
Her mother took the secret to the grave. A relative gave her the wrong name, and she searched for years with nothing to show for it. When she finally found Mr. Garcia on Facebook, the connection was instant.
Yes, I was there for her at birth. When she was born, I used to rock her to sleep in my knees. I stayed with her family. I stayed with her family. Her grandmother, I stayed with them for like 10 years.
10 years living with the family. 18 years of child support without missing a beat. He rocked her to sleep as a baby and showed up at every stage of her life. The judge commends him. This level of commitment is rare in this courtroom, but Ms. Ames reveals their relationship wasn't always smooth, and one argument planted a seed that changed everything.
No, me and my father, Mr. Patton, we've had a rocky relationship. We had our ups and downs. He was around, and then there's sometimes he wasn't. But I remember when I was younger and we got into an argument and he made a statement to me.
Go find my real dad. One sentence in the heat of an argument, and it confirmed everything she'd been afraid of for years. She never forgot it, and she never told Mr. Patton about Mr. Garcia. Meanwhile, Mr. Garcia has his own version of how this all started. Going back to his high school prom, the timeline, he says, never added up from the beginning.
Mother never told me no different. He's the man on my birth certificate. He was at my wedding. He signed my marriage certificate because he was there. No matter how our relationship was, he was the man who was there.
So you never connected.
On the birth certificate, at the wedding, on the marriage certificate, Mr. Patton was there for all of it. But the freckles always bothered her. Neither parent had them. She asked as a kid and never got an answer. Nobody could explain where they came from.
I told them, and I told them when I made connection with her. And my sister, which was who she was dating, who I met her mother through, was right there when I found her.
Really?
Yes.
And your sister was the person.
The same sister who introduced them decades ago was there when he found the daughter. Full circle. And Mr. Patton knew the whole family. Lived right down the street. He even confronted the mother once. She said they were just friends. Everyone in that room knows it was more complicated than that. Ms. Ames is about to explain what this last year has been like, torn between two families.
In this last year after meeting Mr. Garcia, who have you been calling dad? Is Mr. Patton still your dad, or do you believe
they're both my dad? But I'll work on building a relationship with Mr. Garcia because if he is my dad, we need that.
She calls both of them dad. She loves both of them. And no matter what the DNA says, Mr. Patton will always be grandpa to her children. But she's not doing this for herself. She needs her kids to know their real family. She doesn't want them growing up not knowing who they're related to. The judge agrees. It's time for the results.
Mr. Patton, as you stand here, hearing the testimony that's been presented today, are you still 100% sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
You are. Mr. Garcia, as you stood here today, hearing how this man has spent his life taking care of this young girl.
25 years of searching, and Mr. Garcia finally has his answer. But the most powerful moment wasn't the DNA. It was Mr. Patton. He didn't flinch. He didn't walk away. He said what a real father says, "I'm still her dad." The judge described how Ms. Ames stood between both men, and Mr. Garcia slid to the center to meet her halfway. 2 fathers, 1 daughter. She gained the truth. That brings us to the end. A mother who blocked 2 fathers until DNA forced her hand. A man who raised 2 kids for 8 years and learned one wasn't his. A woman who lived a double life for 30 years and discovered the father she tried to disprove was real. And a search that ended with 2 dads side by side. Drop a like, comment which case hit hardest, and subscribe. Next one soon.